In this video, we are going to discuss what are the grounds, okay, for your ship to be detained by the port state control officers, okay? Now, these are the points that I want you to take a screenshot, take notes, okay? So once you go on board, okay, once you go on board, you know the stuff that you need to work on and maintain. Okay, now a handful of deck officers are doing this here on this site, but yeah, I'm gonna help you on this area. Okay, so let's get started. Okay, number one, okay, the absence of principal equipment or arrangements required by the conventions. Okay, let me just read this first paragraph. More detailed inspection, an inspection conducted where there are clear grounds for believing that the condition of the ship, its equipment, or the crew does not comply with the requirements of the relevant conventions. SOLAS, STCW, call regs. The inspection may focus on one area or be across various areas. Now, there are three types of inspections. Okay? Initial inspection, or typically they call it random inspection. More detailed inspection. Next up, or the last one is expanded inspection. Okay? Now, the first ground that your ship is subject to more detailed inspections is number one, the absence of principal equipment or arrangement required by the conventions. For example, one of your life rafts are missing. Okay? Your life raft is, I don't know, somewhere around the sea, somewhere around Pacific. Okay? So that is a clear ground for you for the detention. Okay? Your ship is declared unseaworthy if you're missing one life raft. Okay? I mean, you cannot travel without, diba, another life raft missing. Okay? Your port state control officer would check, hey, when did you maintain your life raft? Why did it, diba, napunta sa dagat? Why did it went to the sea? I don't know, sir. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. Okay, you're gonna be sent home. I'm telling you right now. Okay, number two, evidence from the review of the ship's certificates that a certificate or certificates are clearly invalid. One of your certificates are, they've already been expiring for more than 2, 3, 4, 5 months, and you are failing to check it. Dude, that's a ground for detention. Okay, number three, evidence that the ship's logs, manuals, or other documentations are not on board, are not maintained, or are falsely maintained. Okay? You have to keep your logs properly maintained. Okay? Once you finish them, secure them, of course, in a proper place. Okay? You have this proper location in your ship, proper room where you can, store all of your old logbooks. And also, if you make an entry or a wrong entry on your logbook, GMDSS logbook, GPS logbook, deck logbook, if you make a mistake, just put a line, okay, put a line over it, and then write your name and then signature. That's it. And also put a date. Okay, put a date. Okay. Next up, number four, in the opinion of the port state control officer's general impression and observation, serious hull or structural deterioration or deficiencies exist that may place at risk the structural, watertight, or weathertight integrity of the ship. For example, okay, your deck is poorly maintained. Okay, it's a clear ground for deficiency. The deck plates are rusty. Yeah, I mean, the goosenecks are rusty. Poorly maintained. Hindi kayo sa Tagalog tinatawag na tik-tik kalawang. Okay, you're not removing rust. Okay? So your port state control officer will, let's just say she or he would deem your ship as unseaworthy. Next up, in the opinion of the port state control officer's general impression or observation, serious deficiencies exist in the safety, pollution prevention, or navigational equipment. Okay? Let's say pollution prevention, there's unnecessary leaking of oil from the deck to the sea. Now, that's a very big deficiency, okay? And you cannot travel if your ship is spilling oil. Okay? Navigational equipment. Okay? You have a faulty motherboard on your ECDIS. Okay? Your magnetron on your radar is not replaced. Okay? Your compass is not properly calibrated. Okay? So your ship will be detained. Okay? So you have to keep that, or you have to be knowledgeable on when or how to maintain your equipment on board, especially if you are a deck officer. Information number 6, or evidence that a master or crew is not familiar with essential shipboard operations relating to safety of ships or the prevention of pollution, or that such operations have not been carried out. This is what I have been talking about earlier in my videos, that every crew member, that includes you, young cadet or young deck rating, you need to be updated by what your job is on board, what your series of tasks is when there is an emergency drill or an actual emergency on board the ship. Because out of nowhere, you never know that the guy that you meet on your deck while you are, having cargo operations is the port state control officer. Okay? So you don't get complacent. Overconfidence makes you careless. Okay? Overconfidence makes you careless. Next up, okay? Indication that key crew members may not be able to communicate with each other or with other persons on board. Okay, now the English language is the international language on board the ship. Okay, English language is the national language on board, international language on board the ship. If your crew members cannot speak English very well, it's a ground for the ship to be detained or have some kind of deficiency. Why would the company send someone who cannot speak basic English? You don't have to be, perfect English like the British ones. No, you just need to have a basic English skills. That's it. When you go on board, okay, I remember one of the earlier comments in my chat, you've got a wrong grammar. Nobody cares about wrong grammar. Okay? When you go on board, nobody cares about your wrong grammar, just as long as you know basic English. Simple. And the guys who are telling that are guys who are inexperienced on board. Okay? Next up. Absence of an up-to-date master list, fire control plan, and for passenger ships, a damage control plan. Also in bulk carrier, we have this damage control plan. Okay? We have this. Okay? In cargo ships, we have damage control plans. Let me just repeat, absence of an up-to-date master list, fire control plan, and I want to talk to the future third officers, okay? Just because you haven't done this, that doesn't mean that you will not do this in the future. If you are a deck cadet right now, you should be knowledgeable on how to put IMO stickers, or let's just say how to update your fire control plan, how to, the count of your equipment, FFE, LSA, okay? You understand, okay, how these things operate, because there are third officers, okay? There are third officers, they are old third officers, but they cannot understand or demonstrate very well their job, okay? Their equipment is poorly maintained, okay? For example, let's just say you have a new delivery of new brands or new sets of life jackets, okay? Now, when you have a new set of life jacket on board, you need to update that one. You need to put the name and the call sign of the ship. Okay? You need to put the, let's say your name of the name of your ship is Ever Given. Call sign 9 Hotel Alpha 4034. You need to put that on your life jacket. Okay? Because in case of emergency, okay, napadpad ka sa iba, okay, you went astray, you went further from your crew, okay, and suddenly you passed out, okay, if the name of the ship is not stated here on your life jacket, okay, there's a very high chance that, dude, who the hell is this guy? We don't know this guy. We have no identification who this guy is, or where is he from. So, as a third officer, okay, when you receive new sets of life jackets, okay, because they don't put your name on top of the life jacket, you have to put that one manually. Okay, when you receive, let's say for companies like NorthSafe. Next up, number 9, the emission of false distress alerts and not followed by proper cancellation procedures. When you accidentally press the distress button, I mean, it's impossible, it's impossible for you to have a mistake in, pressing the distress button unnecessarily. Okay, because when you look at the distress button, there is a flap, okay, there is a cover. Okay, so you cannot accidentally press the distress button unless you intentionally you're trying to prank everybody. It's a prank. You can do that here on the site, but you cannot do that on board. Okay, so if you accidentally press the distress button, okay, maybe you were conducting a distress alert button test, and one of you is not that bright. Okay, they think, if I just press this, okay, that's the distress test. No, that's the actual distress call. You don't do those things. Okay, there is a proper procedure. Depends on the model. On Furuno, they do it differently. You have to select first the distress test option on the Furuno VHF, for example, only. And then once you click the distress test, okay, there is an indication that, okay, you are now allowed to press the distress button. Then and only then you can press the distress button. Lift the cover up and then press the distress button. Okay, but right now it's very impossible for you to conduct a false distress alert system unless you're trying to prank everyone. Okay, but in case you need to have proper cancellation procedures. This is motor vessel Ever Given, la-di-da. We made the mistake about our distress. We accidentally pressed the distress alert, cancel. Very simple, okay? This was a mistake. I repeat, this is the, for example, okay? This is the Master Mariner of the Ever Given. I would love to cancel, okay? Cancel the distress alert. Let me say it one more time. Cancel the distress alert. Okay, we have falsely pressed the distress button. Okay, and we watch to cancel. It's a false alarm. Okay, you have to alert all ships, and if you are near a coast station, okay, you have to alert the nearest MRCC. Okay, you have to alert the nearest coast station, because there's a very high chance they have received that. Because also way back in the day, we receive a lot of distress messages. Okay, but then again, they immediately notify us, we just made a mistake. It typically comes from fishing boats. Okay, from fishing boats. Okay, that's number 9. Number 10, receipt of a report or complaint containing information that a ship appears to be substandard, poor standard. Okay, 11, the ship has been reported by pilots or port authorities or other as having deficiencies which may prejudice safe navigation. Okay, your equipments are failing, your steering gear, let's say you have your pilot on board, your steering gear is failing consistently. Okay, alarms are, the alarm panel is like a Christmas lights. Okay, next up, ships whose statutory certificates have been issued by an organization which is not recognized under the term of Council Directive 94/57 EC of November 22, 1994 on common rules and standards for ship inspection and survey organizations and for the relevant activities of maritime administration. Now, aside from the SOLAS, STCW, LSA, FFE, you have other codes as well, IMO, diba? You have other certificates that are not required on board. What kind of person are you? Who are you dealing with? 13. The ship has been involved in a collision on its way to the port. Okay? Let's just say Ever Given. Okay? I mean, it's not a collision, but it's grounding. But then again, you have an incident. Number 14. The ship is in a category for which expanded inspection has been decided. Okay? The ship is in a category for which expanded inspection has been decided. Let's just say the ship is not that new. Okay, you want to observe more. Okay, you want to assess more the ship. Okay, and the competency of the crew. Okay, if you're somehow in doubt of the skills of them. Number 15, the ship has been suspended from their class for safety reasons in the preceding 6 months. Okay, let's just say you are trying to update your certificates. Of course, you're gonna be, you have deficiencies. You need to update that. You need updating, upgrading. You have to go to the dry dock for a while. Okay, of course, you're gonna be grounded for a while. Okay, and this isn't necessarily, a bad trait. Okay, but still, this is one of the many grounds for you to be detained. The ship has been accused of an alleged violation of the provisions or on discharge of harmful substances or effluents typically marpol. You're dumping oil, you're dumping, fuel over the sea. Okay, you have left trails. You have left trails, I should say. You have left trails. Okay? And you were followed. You were reported, and then you were followed. Okay? Ever Given was dumping oil at the Bering Sea. The ship's statutory certificates on the ship's construction and equipment have been issued by an organization which is not recognized by the authorities. Same thing, just like earlier. And last but not least is number 18, the ship flying in the flag of a state appearing in the 3-year rolling average table of above average detentions in the annual report of Memorandum of Understanding. Okay? If your ship is, you have detentions above average detentions, and nobody noticed, this ship is violating a lot of policies on our port or on this port, and nobody's keeping an eye on this guy, then and only then, okay, that's a clear ground for you to be detained. Okay, so these are the common grounds for a ship to be detained. Okay, now I will be posting this here on the video description, so you can screenshot it, see it, okay, whatever, review it, okay, up to you. Okay, so these are the parts that you need to clap an eyeball on when you are a deck officer of a ship. You have to help your master mariner because sometimes captains they tend to miss tiny details on board the ship. So if you want to be promoted, help them. Okay, so then again, these are the common grounds for port state control inspection detention. So then again, hope you've learned something new. Be happy, be healthy, and most importantly, to God be all the glory. Keep safe, guys. Bye bye.